The room smelled of lavender and dust, a scent that Amelia had always associated with her grandmother. A gentle breeze, carrying the scent of lilies from the garden, blew through the window, ruffling the white curtains. The air was thick with a stillness that spoke of the end, of a life well lived and now gently slipping away. Amelia sat by the bed, holding her grandmother's hand, its skin thin and translucent like a spiderweb. "Amelia, my love," her grandmother rasped, her voice barely a whisper. "It's time." Amelia's heart ached. She wanted to say, "No, not yet," but she knew the truth. Her grandmother, the vibrant, larger-than-life woman she had always known, was fading, her life ebbing away like the tide on the shore. Suddenly, a loud screech shattered the quiet. Coco, her grandmother's beloved African gray parrot, landed on the windowsill, his bright red plumage a stark contrast to the somber atmosphere. He had been quiet all day, an unusual silence that had worried Amelia. "Coco," her grandmother croaked, her eyes focusing on the parrot. "My boy. I'm going on a long journey now." Coco cocked his head, his amber eyes reflecting a flicker of understanding. He tilted his head towards her grandmother, then let out a low, mournful croak. "Don't worry, my love," her grandmother whispered, her voice weak. "You'll be all right. You'll be with Amelia." She reached out a hand, her fingers trembling, and stroked Coco's head. The parrot ruffled his feathers and chirped softly, a small, comforting sound that was a world away from his usual raucous calls. He hopped closer, perching on the edge of the bed, his head close to her grandmother's face. Amelia watched as they exchanged a silent, intimate moment, a shared understanding that transcended words. The parrot ruffled his feathers, then gently nestled his head against her grandmother's cheek, as if comforting her. Time seemed to stretch and shrink in that small room, each tick of the grandfather clock on the wall an eternity. Amelia watched as her grandmother's breathing slowed, her chest rising and falling less frequently, until it finally stopped. Coco remained perched on the bed, his eyes fixed on his beloved companion. He didn't move, didn't make a sound, just sat there, as if frozen in time. Then, in a voice that was a mirror of his mistress's last words, he uttered, "Be all right." "With Amelia." A sob escaped Amelia's lips. Her grandmother was gone, but in that single moment, she knew the love they shared was eternal, a bond that transcended life and death, a love that even a parrot could understand. Coco stayed on the bed for hours, his head tucked under her grandmother's hand. When Amelia finally decided to take him to his cage, he didn't resist. He walked with her, his steps slow and deliberate, his gaze fixed on the empty bed. In that quiet room, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun, Amelia knew that while her grandmother was gone, her spirit lived on, in the scent of lavender and dust, in the rustling of the curtains, and in the silent, sorrowful vigil of a parrot who loved her more than words could ever express.